What is going on, everybody? I really don't have much to say. And I'm somebody who has plenty to say. I think I've gotten the reputation of being quite outspoken here. But yeah, Carolina is now 1-9. They fall to Dallas by a score of 33-10. And may I say that this game, the ending of this game, kind of felt like the San Francisco game from last year. I don't want to feed into any narratives right now, but there's a sense of hopelessness that's being felt across this building right now, the likes of which we haven't seen in probably a year. And this was a game that I know a lot of people were looking at to see how Frank Reich would react to some of the pressure, some of the outside pressure being put on him. And sure enough, we got more of the same result today, Chris. Roundly defeated Panthers team. And we'll show some pictures here in a little bit of a certain somebody who was walking off the field today. But, I mean, that's just the word of the day, just defeated.
Defeated, word of the day. What's the final score? Did you say it already?
33-10.
33-10, final score. Lots of good comments that are coming, so we want to say here at the beginning, we're going to make sure that we get to those comments. I know in the pregame show it's even harder because there's so much noise and things going on for us to get to them. But today we promise we're going to go through about 30 minutes of recapping today, and then we're going to go into your comments. So the link's in the description. For those who want to join the show, we ask you to please come let us know how you feel. This game isn't fun too much right now with these losses mounting up. I said it last week that I didn't want to, maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Or was it last week in Chicago? It might have been in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to look up the last time we had such a start. I have, but I let it go out of my mind, so I don't know. But we're going to go through some things. I know you got a chance to listen to the press conference from Frank, right?
Yes.
So we're going to anything you want to quickly pull as I get these pictures ready?
I would just say, just throughout the whole presser, that word popped up again, defeated. Like, there was just that air in that room where you're like, is the writing on the wall? And that's all I will say in that regard. But content-wise, there was a lot that was talked about. The penalties, the self-inflicted wounds. And Chris, this is something that I continue to be frustrated by every single week when I watch this team, because these are preventable things, right? I mean,
you can't whisper, man. You get into that whisper mode.
Am I really?
Yes. We need to keep the energy up as we talk about this team.
In any event, you gave me this stat in the first half where Carolina had 5 penalties for 70 yards, and 4 of those penalties resulted in first downs for Dallas. If that doesn't tell you the tale for this Panthers season, I mean, I don't know what does. I mean, that's one of the many things that have gone wrong for this team this year. But again, and this is a phrase that I kind of reiterated throughout the game today and throughout Twitter. Coaching matters.
Yeah.
Coaching matters. Every time something bad happened today, I just kept on hearing in my head, coaching matters. Like that pick 6 that Bryce Young threw. Coaching matters.
Yeah. All right, don't give too much away.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and go into some of the photos that were captured today. Give me a second, but as I bring these up, my good guy, Andre Cassidy, is going to narrate to you what we're looking at here. So let's see if I can do this properly with one frozen finger.
I believe in you.
You believe in me?
Also, now they're frozen. I thought they were hot a couple of minutes ago.
My pocket was hot, but my hands aren't frozen. I'm going to have to put the mic down for a second to do these. Let's see. Let's try again. And we got to give some acknowledgement to all those comments that are coming. So I'll do that right now as I give myself a moment. Allie Broderick, what's going on? B Stallion, Nah, one of my favorite people. Nah's been saying a lot, so keep that coming. I'm not sure if this is the wife or the stepson here, but
it is your wife.
It could be, because she has been pretty upset.
She's been pretty vocal in the comments section
Taylor
already.
Sheridan, all these comments are coming. Shaq Kid. All right, so let's go ahead. You mind hold this first?
Yeah, I got you, man.
All right, let's see if I can get this good.
And again, to everybody who is out there right now, this is your opportunity to come on in and make your opinion be felt here. But before we do that, this is a picture that our good guy, Patrick Snyder, the man of the people, 2.0. Do we want to give him that tagline? But there's Brian Burns right there. And from what we were told, he was there for an extended period of time on the field as he was getting ready to walk off. Just a look of shock, a look of deflation.
He looks in shape to me. That's what I think.
He does look like he's in shape. but he did not really produce much today. Panthers D-line did not sack Dak Prescott at all today. This is the interception that Bryce Young threw right here. The pick six that was undercut by the defender. It was just a great play by the Dallas defender there to undercut the ball.
He has a league-leading four pick sixes this season for the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. Then there's Dak Prescott there getting pressured by the aforementioned Brian Burns. That was really one of the rare moments in the game where they were able to get pressure on Dak Prescott. I felt like he was rather comfortable in the pocket. The Dallas O-line, one of the best in the NFL, and they showcased their abilities today. But that was one of the few pressures that they were able to get onto Dak Prescott. This is the Tommy Tremble touchdown after that 17-play drive. At that moment, you could say that that was the drive that saved Frank Reich's job because it made it a one-possession game, but we all know how things turned out after the fact from a one-possession game to losing by 23.
We'll talk about Frank Reich's career because it seems
a
like
very
you want to talk
popular
about
guy
it.
in Carolina right now, right?
Okay.
There's Tony Pollard. That is the touchdown run that he had, I believe, towards the end of the third quarter that allowed Dallas to pull away. Where was the run defense on that play there? I felt like he was running pretty angry on that.
The defense was
one.
there, and they went for a little ride.
But he just ran right through
They
him,
went for a ride.
I mean, it was quite impressive there. And there's the story of the day right there. And really the story of the season for Bryce Young. Micah Parsons, meet Bryce Young. Bryce Young, meet Micah Parsons.
Nice
on
little
three
hug.
separate occasions today did Micah Parsons sack Bryce Young for a total of 7 sacks by the Dallas D-line. But we'll touch on all those stats in a moment. I got to stop jumping ahead and focus on the here and now. But they were quite friendly to each other today for all the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he had no chance back there at all. And, Chris, it was literally the first play of the game. First play of the game, he had pressure up in his face.
Yeah.
If that wasn't a sign of things to come for this Panthers offense, I mean, I don't know what else it would have been because they had themselves a tough task up against this team today. And legit on the first play, it was kind of just a given that Dallas would dominate on that side of the ball today.
Yeah, was there anything else that you want to go ahead and talk about the coach's presser now a little bit more in depth, or do you want to go through the stats? How you want to do this?
I will touch on him with Bryce Young. I'll be quick in that regard because there are a couple of questions about Bryce Young's ability to be sustainable because of the amount of hits that he was taking. And, does he feel like he can make it through to the end of the season with the amount of hits that he's taken?
That was a question that was asked to Bryce?
That was, to Frank Reich about Bryce, his ability to, stay healthy. And Frank doubled down and pretty much said he has proven on multiple occasions that Bryce can handle those hits. And Bryce has the mental toughness to be able to get through some of the struggles that he's facing early on in his career. Because, I mean, this is probably one of the roughest, if not the roughest time of his career right now. He has never lost this many games over the course of a season, I don't think ever.
It's probably his lifetime total.
In his lifetime, right? So he's doubling down on it, and this doesn't surprise me. Frank's going to double down on the good and the bad and the ugly in relation to his team. But that question was brought up a lot about his health, mentally, physically, because he is getting beat up. He is getting beat up, and I think you got to ask yourself the question, can he even make it to the next? I was wondering if he can make it out of today. I mean, with the amount of hits that he was taking. But that was definitely a topic of conversation in the presser today. And then I don't know if there was any questions in regards to his tenure and his long-term status.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have been an appropriate question to ask in that situation there. But it definitely seemed like when you look at it from a body language perspective, it was weighing on him.
Yeah.
You could tell. I mean, there's just no denying that. It was pretty obvious there.
The fans are doing good, man. We got 26 comments that are waiting for us. The name of this video was Let's Talk About It.
Yes.
Meaning we want to hear from fans out there that are watching. So, again, we're just going to go through these stats, and then all these comments that are coming, we're going to start touching on those. Welcome our members. And, hey, a way to jump the line and definitely be a part of the show, and our most favorite way for you to do that is?
Hey, leave us a super chat.
And
to join the frickin' show. You got that link, everybody. Don't be shy. Hey, if you got to wear a brown paper bag while on camera, go for it, man. I'm not going to judge you for it. Hey, that's the thing. We're the worst team in the NFL. We have every right to not show our faces right now because of how things have gone up to this point.
All right, let's go ahead and run through these stats, man, and talk about this day. All right. I did a good job of not loading the stats, but I think I could do it very quickly as we're talking here.
You know, Chris, you were so hard on yourself, man. You know that?
At least I have my voice right now.
Right.
It's doing better than pregame.
You're doing wonderful, man.
I appreciate it.
You are doing wonderful, and it hasn't given out on you yet.
Not yet.
Knock on wood that will stay the case, and we'll stay the course there.
And I didn't bring my water, so once again, I'll still try to make it through.
You'll power through.
I will power through. So we're gonna ad-lib here for a second because I have an alternative way that I need to get to these stats, which I am now at. So,
and while he figures that out, I mean, yeah, fellas, we're 1-9, and I know we're gonna get to a lot of the comments here that are popping through right now. So keep at it to everybody who is tuning in. But if you would have asked me back in August when we were doing Fan Fest, if you came from the future and you were knowing of what was going to take place, if you would have told me that Carolina was going to be 1-9, that Frank Reich could potentially be fired the next day, I would literally laugh in your face right now, because with all the hype coming into this season from all of the narratives that were brought onto this team, all we needed was a quarterback, and that would be the key to success to the issues that we've had in the past with the roster and with the lack of success with the team. I mean, it's just a struggle, right? I mean, we have now.
Not as much as I'm struggling over here.
But hear this, Chris. Hear this. This is now the 6th consecutive season, officially now, where we have had a losing season. So I mean, we're not even in mediocrity territory right now. We're just in poverty at this point. I mean, with that loss today, that seals it for us. We're 1-9, and you know, even if we win out, we would still have a losing record, and that kind of just seals our fate in that regard.
You cursing at me while I'm not looking, man?
I
told you my family's watching this show. You said
did I curse?
You did. You said a lot of curse words and swearing about this team.
I don't think I cursed.
Yeah,
but if I did,
they never win.
If I did, I do apologize. But they do pay me around here to be real.
They do.
So, yes. I mean, you know, I try to keep it clean, but I also try to keep it real for everybody out there.
All right, so go ahead. Again, that link is in the description. We've got about 20 minutes, probably less than that, before we go live with all you got. 15. We're down to 15 because I took forever finding these stats. We're just going to start with what you see here, the receiving.
Oh, wow.
Adam Thielen continues to be our #1 receiver.
And that is scary.
8 receptions, 74 yards, 9.3 yard average, 11 targets. Adam Thielen is responsible for 70% of our offense. The other guys had the same number of receptions total. So what, 2, 4, 6 guys still had what Thielen had. And Terrace Marshall Jr. was inactive today. And as I was watching the game, I said, man, what about Chark? What about DJ Chark? Where's that guy?
He wasn't even targeted today.
So Andre's been talking about coaching, and I'm going to go with his coaching, vent on that. Like, why is it so hard to get anybody other than Adam Thielen to be consistent and show up? I mean, we'll have I think Chark has maybe had 2 good games out of, what do we played now, 9, 10 games?
Right.
And Mingo you feel like Mingo can do something, and then he comes out there and what did he do today? He didn't do anything today, right?
Just laid a goose egg practically. He had 1 catch for 6 yards. That's right. 6 more yards than the 2 of us.
I'm gonna move on because that's just terrible. You want to go ahead and read these? No, I'll get it.
Okay.
I don't want to do defense yet. Let's go over to Bryce Young. Oh, that is not big enough. Let's make that bigger. Bryce Young.
Putrid stats too, by the way.
1 touchdown, 1 interception, and sacked seven times, 62.9 rating. Shakir, I see you wanting to come on, but you got to wait a second. We'll definitely let you on. 123 yards, but you got to take away all the sack yardage, and that means he had 77 yards. 77 yards. And you know, I'm gonna invite them on the show. If you can get their eye to see if they'll come over here for a second to give us their opinion. But
I'll do my best.
I think you can do it. But you know, we had a new play caller today. His name was Frank Ray.
Right.
And
he was a new guy? He was new?
He was new because we had it. We play like hot potato. No, you call it. No, I'm gonna call it. No,
So are we gonna give him the benefit of the doubt today since he's the new guy calling the plays?
Well, I wanted to ask you what you thought about his play calling today.
Garbage. Straight up garbage.
Yeah?
Straight up garbage. And, you know, I can't give him too much, you know, benefit of the doubt because, again, this is week 10. This is week 10. And I get it. We're playing against one of the better defenses in the NFL. But, I mean, for him to only have 123 yards passing, I mean, that's just pathetic, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't even know what you can even do to try to make things better because you are what you are, which is the worst team in the NFL right now with probably one of the most offensively offensive rosters that have been constructed. I mean, Adam Thielen, he cannot be your best receiver, and that's not a slight to him, but it just shows you, and you look at everything that took place with our offense today. The one thing that we did well was run the ball, which we will touch on here in a moment. But our pass game is just so bad.
Yeah.
Just so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to go.
Hey, hit the like button if you're enjoying this new raw emotion from Andre. just do that for me, right? Hit that like button. Subscribe to. We're still trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. We haven't talked about that recently. So hopefully you'll subscribe. I know it's a big ask in the middle of a season where you start out 1-9. I get it. But also, we have our giveaways that we're continuing to do. We're reaching to the bag here. I haven't opened it.
Is that a package I see?
It is a package, right?
Oh, my.
It is a package. And then this package is a what? You want to guess?
I think it's a Bryce Young jersey.
It is a Bryce Young jersey that I would open, but I feel like it's just too much to do
is this
right
the
now.
white one? Or
This
is this
is the blue.
The blue.
This
okay.
is the blue.
The processed blue.
Yes.
Let's add that to the picture as well. The processed blue Bryce Young jersey.
Right. So we're going to continue to give away a Bryce Young jersey every month for those that are viewers of our channel, supporters of Andre and I. So please consider to keep supporting us and doing that.
Yeah, that'd be a good Christmas gift right there. I'll tell you that.
For me, the play calling wasn't so much terrible. I understand you feel like it was, as much as our resources were terrible.
Okay.
All right. You know,
I like that spin there. I like that.
Mostly the line, because I feel like this. I feel like, yeah, it wasn't a great play called game. It wasn't like ooh, ooh, ooh. But a little bit of that ooh has to come from people that are capable of doing the oohs and the ahs. And you don't have that. You had a lot of Bryce Young running for his life. I tried to find the stats during the game.
With the pressures?
With the pressures.
Yeah.
But I believe his pressures were somewhere around 50% of the time. I would definitely say 40%, right? But Frank, he coached to me as much as a guy could and as much as a guy who looks like he's trying to save his job, which I appreciate that effort in that regard. Excuse me. So most particularly, excuse me, there's that
I don't
voice,
think
right?
Tepper wants you to say that.
What?
What you just said right there. I
What
think
did I just say?
Frank's trying to save his job, and then literally 2 seconds later, he doesn't want you to say that, man. He wants to fire him so bad. He wants somebody to blame. Anybody but himself.
Anybody but himself?
He wants a name. He wants a face that he can just call into his office and be like, "You're fired. You're done. Get out of here."
All right, but this is what I say. I feel like what I have been hating to see all season long has been come the second half, the Panthers do terrible. Their third quarter scoring
it was brutal.
Has absolutely been terrible. What do we have today? We had the Carolina Panthers scoring 7 points in the third quarter and the Dallas Cowboys scoring 0. I was like, wow, that's some coaching.
Something. Yes.
Right. That's a change.
Maybe
Maybe they're finding something. So that's good. And part of that was because there was that 17-play, 70-yard
Yeah.
drive, and it ate up about 9 minutes on the clock.
It was impressive.
So that was good. That was good play. He went for fourth down several times. Penalties were still a challenge, even though we were able to overcome them in that drive. And so from that perspective, I was like, I don't feel like the play calling was bad. We just still desperately need some better players. And then in that fourth quarter, I think it was about 12 minutes to go.
Right.
And I forget exactly what happened. Maybe Dallas had just scored.
Yeah, it was a Pollard touchdown, and then they had the possession. They had the ball back, and I think Bryce just pressed in that situation because he knew that we were down 2 touchdowns, and he knows that our offense is definitely not a come-from-behind kind of offense.
Right.
And you're kind of just – you already know what's going to happen. You're kind of just predicting what the result of the play was going to be, which was an obvious passing situation, and he's going to get sacked, and that was after the interception. But, I mean –
so I just want to touch on what that sequence was.
Right.
To then say, when we got down after that happened, that sequence that you just spoke about,
yeah.
All right, oh no, now we're about to be exposed for the fact that we have no deep threats. That's probably when I thought about Chark again.
Right.
We have no deep threat, and Bryce averages about 4 yards per pass, and they're just going to – the Cowboys pressure a lot. And that's what they started to do. And it's like when you know that we got to pass, I think at that point we were down by 20.
Right.
When you know we absolutely have to pass – it's just lights out, and that's exactly what happened. They put up another 10 points.
I mean,
real
you
quick.
have no chance in that situation. I mean, and DJ Chark is supposed to be your afterburner, and he didn't get any targets. And all they could really do at that point is just dink and dunk to guys like Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, Laviska Shenault. I mean, you're really limited in what you're able to do when you're forced to throw the ball in that situation there.
Okay, and we got a super chat that I see has come. I haven't queued it up yet, but I will absolutely queue up the super chat. And let's continue to go through some of these stats here. I kind of forget where we were. So we just did Bryce, talking about his performance today.
Right.
I know everybody out there will want to talk about benching Bryce. Is Bryce the right guy? We'll get to that. Even I think more of that we'll have to get to tomorrow in our longer day after thoughts show. The rushing today was
respectable.
It was more than respectable.
It was respectable.
When you're averaging 5 yards a carry.
Okay.
I think you're just not moved by it because it wasn't
enough. I'm not moved
to.
Because I mean, that doesn't really blow me away.
Okay.
I mean, they were efficient, and they probably should have ran the ball more when they had the opportunity to. But I mean, those are very. And I guess this is the pessimism that's starting to set in now. If this was like the 3rd or 4th game of the year, I'd be a little more optimistic with those kinds of numbers.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a pretty even balance. Chuba Hubbard with 10 carries and Miles Sanders 11. But I need to see more. Like, again, the losses are piling up, and I'm feeling the sense of desperation, at least from my end of things. But I don't feel it from the rest of the team, you know? I mean, those are decent numbers and, you know, good for them. And that was probably one of the things that they were able to do well today was run the ball. But, I mean, again, it does not – I mean, his longest run for Chuba Hubbard, 14, compared to Miles Sanders, 15. So, I mean, they were able to get some chunk plays out of their running backs today. But their impact was minimal at best because, again – this team, from the very beginning of this game, was playing from behind. And when you're playing from behind, you are put in situations, and particularly with this Panthers offense, where they did not want to be in, which was obvious passing situations. And their effectiveness was limited, especially in the second half.
All right, let's go ahead and go on this defensive side. That is not the defensive stats. That is not the defensive stats. Did I not pull up the defensive stats?
You did. I think it was the second one.
There we go. Defensive stats. Troy Hill had a good game today.
He did.
He had a mistake in which he let CeeDee Lamb. I think it was right behind us. I love saying right behind us, right?
Quarter route. He was in the slot.
Yeah.
And then I remember that play vividly because I don't know why. I was just eyeing down Frank from my perspective because I just wanted to see his body language throughout this game.
Okay.
Because I just have this sense that something's going to happen with him, right? 3rd and goal with 20 seconds to go in the first half. And then after the play happens, he just turns his back and just walks away. And he was quite isolated. He was over here on this side of the field, and then you have, of course, all your regular players in their little groups. But he was quite isolated.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody around him before the play, and obviously after the play ended because you just gave up a touchdown. But I did notice that throughout the game, and I don't really want to touch too much on that because we're talking about the defense, right? But there were moments where I was like, is he going to talk to somebody? He seems like kind of a loner out there. But in regards to the defense, though, I mean, this was a tough ask for them today, right? I mean, and you had the injury to Dante Jackson. Some respectable numbers put up by Derek Brown. Von Bell had a pretty good game as well. Brian Burns at the bottom of the list with 3 tackles.
He had 3 quarterback hits.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah, 3 quarterbacks, still pretty significant right there.
He did. He was effective, but they did take a step back today. When they gave up that touchdown to make it 24-10, that was when they needed to step up and force a turnover. I feel like, because the offense just scored to make it a 1-possession game, and you really needed your defense to step up and either force a turnover or get Dallas off of the field, right? And when Tony Pollard ran right up the middle for a touchdown on that run defense, that just took a lot of air out of the stadium, and that was kind of symbolic for how the day went. And while we give them a lot of credit for what they were able to do with all the injuries that they've sustained this season, it was a step back for them today.
Step back?
Yes.
I felt like it was good. Here's why I feel like it was good. And you can be mad at me for disagreeing. You gonna beat me up later?
Hey, no.
No? You sure?
We can agree to disagree, man. That's why we're successful at this thing, man.
Hey, so step back would be that they don't do the things good that they normally do. I feel like they did do the things that they normally do, which is keep the team in this game. They had a chance to win this game through the first half, certainly through the 3 quarters. They had a chance to win this game, and in the 4th quarter they didn't. But that was, in my opinion, led by the fact that the offense started making turnovers, giving them the short field, giving them the pick sixes, and there you have it. They did a good job. And CeeDee Lamb, let me go ahead and get to his stats, but I'm not going to pull up.
I mean, before the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, I mean, he was relatively quiet up to that point.
Yeah, I don't think he had anywhere near 100 yards, right?
He was contained for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, despite the touchdown that they had, for a good part of the game, you really did not hear a lot from him, which I will give them credit for. But you talk about the turnovers and the pick six. That happened after they gave up the touchdown to make it a 2-possession game. So you have to wonder, when you need that group to perform the most, they did not come through, and Dallas was able to drive down the field. It was a 75-yard drive because, remember, Carolina scored on the previous possession, and they were able to drive down the field in a matter of 4 minutes and make it a 2-possession game, and that's when the floodgates opened up for Dallas, and then the mistakes started to pile on with Carolina.
Yeah.
And, you talk about complimentary football, which hasn't been the case for this team at all this season. You really wanted your defense to step up there and make a play, and unfortunately they just couldn't do it today. Yeah,
and the other part of my opinion of defense playing solid today was the Dallas Cowboys have been lights out with people.
They have, yes.
Dak has just been on fire, and last week I believe they played the Giants.
They did, yes.
And Dak averaged about 12 yards a pass, and today it was pretty low. It was more like around the 5 yards. So for me, the defense, they did, all that you could ask. It wasn't the best you've ever seen.
Right.
But considering they're on a team that was 1-8 before the game, could just easily hold their head down. They gave us a chance to win, and it was the offense that just wasn't enough. But, hey, that takes us through our 30-minute mark.
Okay.
It is time to do what? Interact with all you guys who go live for the purpose of you guys interacting with us and answering your questions here live after the game. The only place other than AM radio where you can find people live on TV that takes your questions. So we hope that you all appreciate that and enjoy it. Let's first start off with this right here.
Oh, boy.
Because we need these.
Oh, wow.
Super chat.
We got a super chat.
That was louder than anticipated right
It's
there.
loud, but
wow.
I'll turn it down a little bit. Oh, it was maximum value there. Sorry about that. From Lewis James, Frank is just keeping the good plays secret. He thinks it's preseason. He's still just confused. I love that comment because so many times Frank tries to tell you stuff at the last minute and have all this. I'm not going to tell you who's starting. I'm not going to show you all my play. Like he can keep all these secrets and then come the game just unleash the dragon, which I don't know where that dragon is, or maybe I should say the cat because we're Panthers and it hasn't. Lewis James really appreciate the super chat, which again brings me to saying we're independent media. We haven't been talking about this lately. I'm going to let this guy do it because he does it well.
Do I?
Yes, let him know about super chats and donating and promoting.
Just like our guy Lewis there, who is very kind and generous with his donation. We are supported by all of you out there. The reason why that we're here at Bank of America Stadium is because of you. The reason why we're able to enjoy the lovely cuisine in the press box is because of you. We go live because of you, and we interact for you, by you, and for you. So to everybody out there who is willing and able, please consider leaving us a super chat. Every little bit helps. It's very expensive. The world that we live in right now, it ain't cheap. So please help us out and pitch in because, hey, we do it for all of you out there.
All right, and someone who could not wait to come back on.
I
so
heard
again,
the time.
There's a link in the description. Please click on it. You can join from your cell phone, your computer, probably your Apple Watch. Apple
you probably could.
Really
and if you're
cool
in your basement, hey, that's even better because that's apparently where David Tepper thinks all of the Panther fans are residing in right now is in our basements. So even more of a reason for y'all to come on.
Shackhead, we're gonna give you the 2-minute start.
Go
for
it,
ahead
man.
And let us have it. Let us hear it.
So number one, guys, I think honestly, the fans, you guys, we are more pissed off than Frank Wright. I mean, let's be honest. In his press conference, does he show any sort of emotion? Does he seem like he's upset? No. He stayed, listen, we are getting better, we are playing out, we are doing a good job, basically. And as your super chat earlier mentioned, as I mentioned to you guys from weeks ago, this truly feel like watching a preseason game. No lack of disciplines, not playing out. I mean, yeah, they gave up 7 sacks, but look at last week against the Bears, one of the worst defense. They gave up about 4 sacks. I'm pretty sure they gave up probably over 40 sacks right now. But lack of disciplines? You don't see it from Frank Wright. I mean, let's remember week one preseason game against the Jets, when the Jets played the starters. Ike Ekwonu played terrible. Afterward, they mentioned they met with James Camplin and all of that. Has anything changed? Offensive line performance week 1 to today? No. Lack of disciplines. And on defense, Chris, I have to disagree with you, respectfully. 0 sacks. 0 sacks. Very little pressure on Dak Prescott. And then Derek Brown, you commit a holding penalty on a running play? I mean, seriously, they are not playing tough. It's time to clean house because in a way, it feels like they're tanking. But for what? We don't have a number 1 overall pick. So this is embarrassing. But like I said, the fans are mad. The coaches, we are playing good. We are making stride.
Hey, question for you, Shakid.
Yeah.
Do you think he gets relieved of his duties tomorrow? What's your opinion on that?
Hey, not what you want. Let's be clear, not what you want, but
what do you think's going to happen?
No, I don't think they will fire him, but I think they need to, because like today game, I didn't attend it because the crazy ticket price, plus it was Dallas basically takeover. But I don't think Tepper, honestly, as far as David Tepper goes, he doesn't care if the fans are mad or not. To Tepper, it's all about selling tickets. Bless you, Chris. It's all about selling tickets. So he's not going to clean the house. Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, but like I say, Frank Wright, from what I've read earlier preseason, because he's a deeply involved Christian person, he doesn't like to use choice, inappropriate language. But AC, you will not hear when Ron Rivera was the coach. Ron Rivera told it how it is, and guess what? The players respected them. They
Right.
played tough because they know they are going to be held accountable. But under Frank Wright, we are playing good. We are getting better. So, and the thing is, finally, we have been hearing from week one.
Uh-oh, that's your timer. That's your timer. Go ahead and wrap it up.
We've been hearing from week one from Frank Wright. We've been playing good. We are getting better. The same bunch of excuses week after week.
Hey, appreciate you very
All
much,
right, man.
Shaquille, for coming on there and talking to us. We're going to continue to zoom through these comments. We're going to do some toss-ups here, all right, Andre?
Okay.
Because you got some rare good emotion going on. I want to harness that, let the people see this guy's feelings. And, again, continue to hit that like button. Please, Andre and I are busting our tails.
We
continue
are.
to give you guys a lot of content. All we ask that you do is hit that like button. That helps other Panther fans find out about us, which then helps us do even more stuff. I know it's like, well, what more do you want to hear during this terrible season? But there's still a future season and more stuff to come up.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen, and it would just help us a lot if you guys could do that. So let's run through these comments. Not mostly, but also want to make sure we give some acknowledgement to our members.
Absolutely.
As we go through here. Let's see. Ali Broderick, welcome back, fellas. It looks like if any team wants to rack up sacks, they will get them against Carolina.
I mean, that's your get-right game. If you're a D-line that's struggling to get after the quarterback, just come down to Charlotte, North Carolina, and play up against this Panthers O-line.
B-Stallion, play calling was okay from Frank. I don't think it was bad. I think it was – what? Okay, all right, we're going to talk about it, Andre. Why was play calling bad?
Because look at the results, Chris. I'm a results-driven guy, right? 10 points is okay? Is that what our expectation has come to now? Are we so used to seeing putrid performances week after week to where we're just going to go ahead and say, hey, look, you know, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be compared to last week.
But
so in that standard, it's okay.
Was there a sequence or like, what on earth was that? We ran the ball, ran the ball, and it got nowhere. Or we threw it in the flat, 3 and out. We didn't have
it was the same nonsense that we see every week with these stupid screen passes. I was surprised we didn't have a Ian Thomas screen pass called in today's game.
We threw the ball deep twice.
Twice?
Normally he wasn't doing it at all.
I mean, that's a step in the right direction, but that should be like in the double digits. On any other normal team that has receivers and has the capability to extend the field, that should be, like, if they had that kind of performance, say, you know, week 1, okay, sure, fine, because you're still trying to get used to everything. But we're in week 10, Chris. Week 10, this is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. This is not an okay performance. Not in the slightest. Maybe to our standard, because our standards are pretty low right now, this is okay. But in any other way of looking at it, 31 teams in the NFL, they look at that performance today and they say that's complete and utter garbage. That's not going to get the job done.
And due to time constraints, I can't fight you as much as I want to, but I'm enjoying the banter with my great friend and co-host, Mr. Cassidy. Play calling was okay from Frank. I questioned Zavala, and looks like the entire O-line needs an upgrade. Any speed rusher going against Icky is just an easy sack. No quality rookie talent on this team. You got a minute. Go, unless you want.
Yeah, so with that first Micah Parsons sack, it was a stunt right up the middle. And he literally ran right through Bradley Bozeman and Austin Corbett. I believe that's how you pronounce it, because I've heard so many different pronunciations of the last name. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to have to look at this offensive line in the offseason because they definitely underestimated how poorly constructed that group was.
All right. Okay, guys. I get it. Bryce is in the worst situation, but he needs to do something this season. I think you can watch Bryce and confidently say he'll improve next year.
Yeah, let's be real, too, about Bryce. He hasn't given us a reason to he hasn't given us that wow moment, right? And we're still waiting for that.
Wow, he got up from that hit.
That's the wow that we can say from this game is like, geez, man, he's getting beat up. The fact that he made it to the end of the game is a miracle, right? But, I mean, it's just so much. even Greg Olsen, like I saw on Twitter earlier today, what quarterback can survive under these circumstances? Like, it's so impossible to be successful with the circumstances that are given right now. I mean, I feel like even if you had Patrick Mahomes in this setup right now, he wouldn't be successful. I mean, it just shows you, as Chris is trying his best to stay afloat here. But, I mean, it's just, what do you expect him to do? It's so hard to evaluate Bryce Young right now because of the lack of talent and the lack of an ability for an O-line to protect him and keep him upright. But he does need to show us more. I do understand the frustration from that part of it as well.
Timer Jenkins says, should have kept Coach Wilks. Shaking my head.
I mean, hey, it's becoming more and more evident. I didn't want to say it at the time because I was excited to have Frank Reich as our head coach when we hired him.
Yeah, this is a
but
fun
the
one.
results,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the results are pretty evident right now.
Hey, Taylor Sheridan says, look at the bright side. Steve Wilks, Chris McCaffrey, Sam Donald are going to the Super Bowl. How about that?
How is that looking at the bright side? They should all be with us, not Sam Darnold, but Christian McCaffrey and Steve Wilks. I mean, it still blows my mind to this day that we traded Christian McCaffrey and we didn't get a first-round pick for him.
Eventually we did.
Eventually, yes. Eventually. But, I mean, that's a conversation for another day.
There was no fight. Come on.
Facts. I'm not going to disagree with the wife there because, you know, that's a conversation and a debate that I would lose, but she's 100 on that one.
Hold that W. Appreciate that comment. Frank has to go.
Holding these up right now, a whole bunch of these.
My voice is going, man. Go ahead and read that comment.
Frank's got to go. I wouldn't mind rebuilding from, I guess you were trying to finish a thought there, but I mean, hey, you might have to clean house just to give some folks some semblance of hope, because what we got right now is definitely not getting the job done. That is for sure. Joey Green, I feel bamboozled for believing the hype. I think we all feel.
You want to switch, man? My voice is just really
right.
Jacked up.
Take over the controls here. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of feel like we were, what's the word? Bamboozled, but there's another word that I'm thinking of right now. We were highway robbery, I think is the phrase that I would use for that. I mean, you know, we were told, hey, if we could just get ourselves a quarterback, you know, the roster is built. We made investments in the draft the past couple years, and look what we have to show for it.
I don't mean to steal the show with all my coughing and dying here live on air, but.
So, again, we're adding more content to the tell-all Chris Jenkins book.
Andre Cassidy is going to bring us through. He's a man.
I will be writing, and I have my photographer who will provide some of the images as well, Patrick Snyder. Eric Schaefer, can we get 2 first-round picks for Burns, or do we want to assume he will be healthy and better next year? I say blow up the team and fully rebuild and stop depending on these injury-prone guys. Well, you can't trade them now. I mean, we're past the trade deadline, so, I mean, you know, maybe in the offseason that's something that they consider. I mean, they still are in a position right now where do they want to pay them? Do they want to pay him? I mean, you know, that's a very difficult thing to look at right now, because not only do you have to pay him, you also have to consider paying Frankie Louvu. You also have to consider paying Derek Brown. I mean, these are guys that are due for contracts, and, you know, we do have some cap space, but how much of it can we give up in order to accommodate for that? And then he also commented, I can come on the show, but I'm not wearing a T-shirt. Put on a T-shirt, man. We want to see you come on the show. Put on a T-shirt. I mean, you know, it's not that hard to do, right? But in any event, we have Ed here leaving a comment. Bryce is just an average college quarterback. NFL quarterbacks don't lead the league in pick sixes, no matter how bad the offensive line is. He's too short, not fast on those short, skinny legs, and misses the field, or the full field of vision. So we have guys who have been successful with that body type. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Drew Brees. But those teams had to be tailored a certain way to accommodate for the size deficiencies that these guys had to experience. Carolina right now has not been tailored to the body type of Bryce Young. I mean, when you're getting pressured on literally every other play, that doesn't serve anybody any justice. I mean, heck, we had a guy who was 6'5" and 240 who was playing under those similar circumstances where he had no time to throw the ball and nobody to throw it to. So it's not a size thing. It's a matter of a lack of skill surrounding him and a lack of talent surrounding him as well. Mark Burks saying, tear it all down. Tear it all down. Let's start over again. I mean, how many times have we said that since David Tepper has been here in Carolina? I mean, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, until we have a new voice and a new owner at the very top of it all, at the corner of Mitt and Moorhead, I don't know if anything that we do is going to result in anything different in the product that we put on the field that's right behind us. So, I mean, we could tear it down as many times as we would like, but again, does it result in winning? And that remains to be seen here with Tepper here in Carolina. Eric Schaefer with another comment. It is an offensive line issue. Bryce has no time to throw, constantly getting sacked. You see it in the run game. I would say 100 on that one, obviously, because, you know, Chris, he's got no time to throw. I know, but I'm bouncing this conversation around because we a family around here, right? But, I mean, it's the same issue every week. It's the same sort of deal where he has no time to throw. He has no one to throw it to. He could be in his fourth or fifth step in his drop, and his receivers are still not even breaking on their routes, and you have guys coming from his left, coming from the right, coming up the middle, providing pressure in the face of Bryce Young. So, I mean, it's just a whole host of issues. And again, to everybody out there who are continuing to leave comments here in the comment section, keep leaving them. And we also want to hear from you as well. So definitely continue to utilize that link that is in the description because, hey, we're here to vent, and we are here to also hear you vent out there as well. Malcolm Gerard Smith with a comment as well, saying that we are garbage. I mean, that's probably the simplest way to put it right now without being too mean, right? We're just straight up garbage. And there's not a lot that we can, you know, try to hide in relation to that, just simply put, because, I mean, again, it's so hard as a fan because you have to look at it from the perspectives of us too, right? We have a media obligation to be objective, non-biased, right? Independent. But you also have that voice in your head as a fan where it's like, how can I come up here and show up and watch this garbage week after week after week and nothing changes? There's nothing noticeable from these 10 weeks of play where there have been improvements in things that we know that have been an issue with this team. Like we talk about the penalties, Chris. Like, to me, that's super frustrating because it's so preventable. It's so preventable, but yet we continue to get flagged in the most inopportune times. I mean, literally at the end of the first half, we had, 2 or 3 personal foul penalties that extended that drive on third down, and that allowed them to score a touchdown here right behind us on that side of the field.
Right.
I mean, we have no room for error because, again, it's the lack of talent, it's the lack of explosiveness, and the inability to come back in these games gets compounded when we shoot ourselves in the foot and we don't give ourselves an even footing to even give ourselves a chance to try to come back in these games.
I'm going to try to join here for the remainder. Hopefully we can get through a bunch of speed round of these comments.
I may need to give myself.
I know we won't be able to touch every comment, but let's try to pick some good ones and get through them all here. Don't be trying to pull my laptop.
I wasn't trying to.
I love
I
picking
wasn't
with this guy.
trying to. If I was, again, I do apologize, and we do have camera footage. So if I was lying,
we can go to progressive replay.
Yeah, replay it. Throw the challenge flag, if you will. Right. Oh, here's a good one right here from Taylor. As a fan, I shouldn't be disappointed in this game. We all know the outcome. Just glad it wasn't 70-10. Hey, it wasn't a blowout like the one that we saw in Miami when Denver played in Miami. That was the game that he was referencing there. And hey, we did keep it close through 3 quarters. It was 17-10. And then once the 4th quarter began, the floodgates opened up and the guys started to press. And then all those mistakes with the penalties and the turnovers kind of compounded, and that avalanche started to grow, and then it led to the score that we saw on the field, where we lost by 23 points. And I think I predicted 27-10. So I was off by 6 points. I was able to look at it in the pregame show earlier, not to try to toot my own horn here, but I think, we were pretty good in that one in regards to the predictions. All right, so we have another comment from Nah. This is a pretty good one right here. I need y'all to answer honestly. So we try to be honest around here, but he's holding us to a standard. He wants us to be honest.
You got to talk up a little bit for me, buddy.
Okay. If Carolina traded for Bryce but managed to keep this year's first-round pick and you fired Frank, would you honestly not pick a quarterback in this year's draft?
Answer honestly, right? Papers,
That's
rock,
a tough
You
one.
want to go first?
That's a tough one.
No, I wouldn't pick another quarterback. Heck no. Absolutely not would I pick another quarterback, because fans, I don't know, just kind of, to me, that question depends on, like, if you're on the Bryce train or not.
Right.
Like, if you're not on the Bryce train, then that person is going to pick, I'm going to draft another quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I think for people that are on the Bryce train, which I believe it's probably more people than not,
right,
and this coaching staff talks highly about Bryce Young. A lot of people across the league still talk highly about Bryce Young, just saying he's not in a good situation. So for me, I go to let that guy grow, keep him on my team, and I get him some assets, whether I get an offensive lineman, whether I get a wide receiver, whether I have to get somebody on the edge, because we have so many spots to fill. And I don't know all the good guys that are coming out of college to say which one's the best. But, no, I would absolutely not pick another quarterback.
And this draft this year is a receiver-deep draft. So, I mean, even if we, in the situation that we're in right now where we don't have a first-round pick, there's still going to be guys available in the second round who could be considered first-round talents. But I would say no as well, because I am a believer in Bryce Young. I just think if I was in that position where we would have that first overall pick, I would field offers first and see if I could get some more draft capital and trade back and move into the latter part of the first round, because I guarantee you there are teams that are hungry enough out there who want to trade for a guy like a Drake May or a Caleb Williams, and they are willing to give up, like we did last year, multiple levels of assets to be able to acquire that kind of guy. So no, in the sense that I do believe we have the guy, but using that leverage that you would have in that scenario there to acquire more draft picks, that would probably be the route that I would go in to get that talent around Bryce Young that we all know he needs, because there's just not a lot to work with right now.
I like how it's compiled.
Yeah,
good job.
GM Cass today. Hey,
we got about 5 minutes to go, so I do also want to continue to say, please hit the like button.
Yes.
Subscribe. We still want to get to 10,000 subscribers. And maybe we can get one more person to join us. There's a link in the description, so please consider making Andre and our evening here by coming on and asking a question, Benning, whatever you want to do. We're here.
This may be a controversial one right here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on the screen. We have deep threats, Chris.
Okay.
Do we, though? Bryce Young can't throw deep balls accurately downfield. Oh, man, this is... I'm laughing because I think I could see your thought process. You believed what they told you. I believed what I was being told by Scott Fitterer and members of the Panthers front office. We were told that we had deep threats. DJ Chark was supposed to be that afterburner kind of dude. We had Demir Bird at one point or another. Of course, he's not on the team anymore. We had Shi Smith, who I guess was considered a deep threat at that time when we were told that we had those weapons, okay? But here's the thing. Adam Thielen is your number one producing receiver. He's not a deep threat. He's a slot threat. He's quick. He's shifty, but he's by no means no Tyreek Hill when it comes to expanding the field vertically. Part of the reason why they don't call those plays is because these guys who are trying to get open take forever to get open. You could call an out route. You could call a route over the middle. And Bryce Young will be in his fourth or fifth step in his drop back, C-Dog. Nobody's open. They're not even breaking their routes. Just look at the tape, my guy. If you watch QB Room on YouTube, I highly recommend, if you haven't heard from him, look it up on YouTube because he has a lot of great insight and puts a lot of visuals to what we're saying and hearing. But that will show you firsthand why they don't go deep. Because you need time to throw the ball when you go deep. And when the guys that are, running, they take forever to get open and take forever to go deep, you can't. That's not part of your repertoire. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. All right.
Well, I go to comment on it. See if we have any members that have popped on. Because again, I know earlier in the pregame show we did. I wasn't able to get to many of you guys to give you all the pomp and circumstance. Is that the word? Pomp and circumstance. Yeah, to celebrate you coming on. But thanks to all the members. Thanks to everybody for continuing to deal with my lack of voice. I had to step away for a second tonight and let Andre step in. But I do question the deep ball for Bryce, as in I want to see it, because I've said it before that, man, I wonder if we haven't seen it because it's kind of weird looking. And, there's been some games where he'll throw it. It's like, that wasn't clean. Like, have we seen a good, when I say good deep ball, have we seen a good deep ball that was caught and hit a player running in stride from Bryce? And I feel like the answer is absolutely no. But I don't know if I don't study a lot of college film. I got to be honest about that. So I don't know what all Bryce was doing in college. But I kind of find it, from my position, hard to believe that he can't throw a deep ball and would have been a number one pick and had the hype that he has had as a player. So perhaps that deep ball has been affected by the pressure and other things for this guy. He's still a rookie. Right. Well, maybe that is a bad habit. His deep ball doesn't flow as it used to. But I know we're short on time, so I want to cut it there and use the last few minutes to make sure we get through as many comments as we can.
Absolutely. So let's turn it over to Lisa Lewis. Let's start a petition to get rid of Reich. He looks like he can take down a fifth of liquor with no problems. Tap needs to swallow his pride and get Wilkes back. What Bryce isn't is a pocket passer. That was a lot to unpack there. And then she also comments, Bryce has poor footwork. He is too slow. So the liquor comment, I'm not going to comment on because I'm not an avid drinker of those kinds of fluids. Maybe Chris is. I don't believe he is. He's a humble man.
I don't drink anything.
Yeah, so we'll just leave that one for another day.
I probably had 3 drinks in my life. 3 attempted drinks, I should say.
Okay. Did you turn red?
No color changes.
Okay. I turned red when I drank, just so you all know out there. But in regards to your comment, Lisa, Tepper does need to swallow some pride, right? I feel like he's too involved with the operational side of things on the football side of things, right? I think he needs to let his people do their jobs. Don't influence their decisions. Let them be. But he's impatient. He wants to see a winner, but part of it kind of bites him in the rear end because he's a very impulsive guy. He wants things to happen quickly. But, hey, we're in year 6, and everything that has happened so far has not happened quickly. It's actually turned in the opposite direction. So he definitely needs to take a step back, I feel like, if he wants his team to be successful down the road. Leonard Kowalski built a line like they built the line around Drew Brees. It doesn't help my mental wellness that I am also a Jets fan. Wow.
Well, actually, that is, I don't know if the Jets won or not today, but the fact that Rodgers talks about coming back, he's been on the sidelines, they've won some games without him. I feel like that's not too bad. I know we're at our time here, so see if you want to find one really good more, or see if there's a good more.
I will take a gander.
You hear my grammar?
Yeah.
Good more.
I'm impressed.
Find one good more.
We'll touch base on this one right here from E. Clements. And this may ruffle some feathers with the fan base, but he has a pretty interesting comment. I think Reich and Fitz should stay another season because what head coach and GM would want to come to this team with no first-round pick and being tied to Bryce regardless? I think that's an interesting perspective, particularly because what does a rookie quarterback need? They need stability. They need people to build his confidence, right? So when you make moves to fire a coach and a GM, how does the quarterback interpret that? Does he lose confidence? Does he feel like, oh, it's all on me in that situation? I want to hear your take on that because that's definitely an interesting one that could happen. I mean, there's an argument for that.
Read that for me again.
So he thinks that Reich and Fitz should stay for another season because if they do get fired, what head coach or GM that's out there would view this job as attractive, in other words?
Yeah, I think that's something that we get a little bamboozled by, right? Like, who would want this job? But come on. Who would want to be an NFL coach, the number one sport in America? Mm-hmm. Who would want to come out and lead a group of men at a stadium with 70,000 people roaring and cheering for you? Who would want to get a fat paycheck? Right? I mean, we have careers to get paid and take care of our families,
years,
right?
Man. After 2 years.
Who would not want to get a fat? You heard Thomas Brown. Gosh darn it, my voice. You heard Thomas Brown this week talk about, hey, Thomas, you had 3 games to be a play caller, and then it was taken away from you. Was it even worth it? Would you even want to have had that opportunity? Mm-hmm. He said, heck yeah, I'm a competitor. I'm going to take every opportunity I can to do something. So you even have it there from Thomas Brown, which goes to say, like, if you offer Thomas Brown to play call again, would he take it? Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, there's people out there. God darn it. This is frustrating to me so much, you guys.
Mr.
Just
Tepper is
don't
trying to silence you.
I can't talk how I want to talk. But there's so few people that make it to this league. There's so many people that want an opportunity to be in this league. There's so many people that are good at what they can do in this league that, yes, they would love the opportunity to come here at a job that nobody wanted, perhaps, even though I just can't imagine that from the NFL that it is.
Right.
I talked too long on it. My point is, I believe somebody would want to be here, and don't keep him another year because of that. If you believe in something else for them just as individuals, as Frank and Fitterer, but don't keep them because we can't get anything better. That's like the relationship that somebody stays in because I'm never going to find somebody like him.
Things are going to change. Things are going to change for the better.
Time opportunity.
Right?
Anyway.
But I think the moral of the story is we are left with more questions than answers after today's game. And I'll wrap it up here rather quickly to say that, this is where we are right now. We are 1-9. We're going to go ahead and get ready for Tennessee. This is the holiday week, so I know there's going to be a lot of activities going around the stadium here in Charlotte as well. So it's going to be a busy week up ahead. We will have our day after show tomorrow, another edition of the Mental Health Mondays presented by me and Chris. So be on the lookout for that.
Say, did we get a sponsor? Who's presented by?
Atrium.
I got you.
Novant. Hey, you have our numbers, right? You have my mom's medical bills, too, while you're at it. So, I mean, feel free to hit us up, right? But in any event, all kidding aside, again, to everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a chore to watch this team play. But, we're going to try to have fun around here. We're going to try to be optimistic. And, hey, we're giving y'all free stuff. Of course, with the luck of a draw, you could be the winner of a Bryce Young jersey, right? But, hey, we're here for you. We want to be here for you, and that's why we love doing what we do here at Charlotte Vibe. So again, be on the lookout for some more content tomorrow for our day after show. That will conclude it for us here tonight. For Chris Jenkins, who I can guarantee you would love to rest his voice right now. I'm a ventriloquist now. Gotta love it. I'm Andre Cassidy. For everybody out there, take care, be well, and have a good night.